Howdy, folks. Dr. Freedom here with you. And if you can't tell, yes, I am sick. That's why I didn't have my camera on during the last Omega Files, because I was literally reaching for hot tea. I had a bottle of water with citrus added, and I had, tissues over here and cough drops over here. So that's why I have my camera off for that hour and a half. And as you can tell, I'm still not over it, but let's hurry up and get this done before I lose my voice completely. All right, new line of Doctor Who t-shirts. Now, basically what this is saying is Forbidden Planet is also going to be releasing that online, the exclusive merch for Series 12 that's being put over at Hot Topic. And I believe, from what I've read, it's going to be basically the same, t-shirts are being released as the series goes on. So Forbidden Planet is also going to have these, things coming out. All right. Also, Doctor Who bosses explain, how scary new monsters are made. And it's always interesting to read about how something goes from concept, to drawings, to actual physical models. Like, down here, they go into a little bit. Chibnall says it really varies. Sometimes it's an idea, sometimes it's an image, sometimes it's a thing that you think, oh, well, that would terrify me if that happened. It can, really, really vary. Interesting stuff there. Plus, if you want to click on this little video, here you go. All right. Now, Radio Times, Doctor Who promises terrifying new monsters in the episode Orphan 55. This goes a little bit more into that, talks a little bit, but nothing really spoilery. But they said right here, quote, they were on set and they were practical monsters. And it says, I was actually really scared when I first saw them. I proper bricked it, admitted Jodie Whittaker. And she was in rehearsal. He's like 6'7" in a suit. And he's running at you down a corridor. And she goes, I was screaming. So, kind of interesting when they get a little bit too far into the atmosphere. There you go. A new series of Doctor Who is a theme for viewers to figure out, reveals Chris Chibnall. Now, it's going to be interesting trying to put this out. Of course, we know what the naysayers will say it is, and I'm not even going to go into any of that anymore. But he said overall there's something that's going to be tying this all together. So, if any of you guys, as the series airs, has any guesses of what it is, feel free to put it in the comment box as we go along. Okay, some more stuff from Spyfall. Some interesting images came out just the other day. It looks like they're doing a little, homage to the various Bond movies. Like here they're doing stuff that was like seen in Casino Royale. And of course they're all wearing, the infamous tux. So, there you go. Check that out. Okay, now here is a spoiler-free review of it. So if you want to read that, here you go. It's up over here on Radio Times. It doesn't really go into any details or anything that's going to spoil your day, but it is an honest review. Now, the lowest review I've heard so far was, of course, on Gallifrey Base with a 4 out of 10. Big surprise there, given the population of that particular little nest. All right, here are those photos if you want to see them in better detail. A little bit higher quality over here on the BBC site. So if you want to go take a look at those, linked below in the description box as usual. Also, Spyfall will feature 3 historical figures. Once again, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, if you didn't leave by now. As we all know, we've been talking about Noor Inayat Khan for quite a while. These ones kind of caught me by surprise. We have Charles Babbage, who is one of the guys who's, invented the first mechanical computer. And then we also have Ada Lovelace, who is also an English mathematician and writer. Interesting that they're pulling, these particular figures together. Here's a little bit more info about who they believe is appearing in it and all that. I'm sorry I can't get any more detail, but my voice is already going out. So, okay, Jodie Whittaker's New Year message as Doctor returns is don't lose hope. She's tapping in rare, says she takes inspiration from young climate change protesters and asks us to open our ears and hearts as Doctor Who kicks off a new decade on BBC One. All right, for your reference, my firm opinion on it is this. Go look up a video by George Carlin called Saving the Planet, or Save the Planet. We have only been engaged in heavy industry for under about 200 years. Planet's been here 4.5 billion. It's been through 50 times worse than us. And there are things we are doing wrong that we can change. But until you can come up with a weather machine, I really don't think we have anything to do with what's going on with the weather, but that's my own opinion. We've known periods of warmth on this planet before. Matter of fact, they're referring to this as a medieval warmth because it has happened before. But like I said, if you're sitting in North America right now, in a state that if you drew a line through about, say, Missouri, straight through the United States, if you're north of that line where you're sitting less than 20,000 years ago is under a 2-mile thick ice cap. So I really don't see how, anything we've done, considering how much the weather's changed just a few thousand years, has really affected it any, but, like I said, that's my opinion. Bradley Walsh describes the first 2 Doctors as the pinnacle of Doctor Who. He goes, I remember that. That was some very scary times. And he was reflecting on his 56 years watching, the television program. And, what he remembers from, back when he was young. Also, just thrown in over here on Anglophenia, 10 things to know about guest stars Stephen Fry and Sir Lenny Henry. A little bit of background info before we go into the episode. Like I said, I apologize that this is going to be so short and so brief, but as you can hear, my voice is starting to go out. Well, one of my family members decided to show up and help serve food and found out later they were sick. So congratulations. Probably everybody who went to Christmas dinner this year at my family's house is probably sounding just like me right now. But I'm on the latter stages of it now. Hopefully I'll be beating it soon because I go back to work next week. So at least I got some time to recover. Please, everyone out there, if I don't talk to you before the next couple days, before we get to the podcast for Spyfall Part 1, please have a safe and happy New Year. Like I always said, this is the time of year that, spend some time with your loved ones because you never know how long they're going to be around. You see, I lost my father on December 31st, 2014. And it's always this time of the year, I think back, on those times I got to spend with him, and I was really happy to have that time with him. So before we go into the new year, please do that. Even if it's just an old friend you haven't talked to in a long time. Go spend some time with those around you and take care of your loved ones. Have a good night.